Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad 2.0. I'm Steve, and this is Workbench Wednesday, episode 64, and part 3 of our testing slash speed matching layout. Okay. Episode 2, we laid the track, got the track prepped, got it laid, tested to make sure there were no conflicts with it. And so now we're going to move into the electrical, not the electronics, but the electrical. And I've already taken the liberty of making up a ground wire. All right. And I will have a barrel plug or banana plug, some like to refer to them, mounted, on the other side where all the connections will be. All right. Mounted where this simply plugs in with the other end into the grounding on the command station itself. All right. In addition, we'll need power for the BD168, and that requires the use of a Digitrax PS14, and it will plug in over there utilizing these barrel plugs, and it'll have to be, the power had to be run from there again over to the BDL168, and then we will have the rail track power, which will be on another barrel plug that'll also run over here to the BD168. So the first thing we really need to do, we've made up the ground wire. The wires connecting the rails and the PS14 will already have barrel connectors, male size, for them. So all we need to do is worry about from the plug-in to the BD168. The LocoNet wire, on the other hand, has to run all the way from the command station to the BDL168. And I'm just going to make the hole in the sidewall large enough where the plug, all right, can slip through and just be stored inside. Now, I have, these look like typical telephone connectors, and they are, except they're not the 4. They're the 6 conductor plugs. And I have some flat 6 connector wires. Lo and behold. All right. And I also have a piece. I always keep an extra little piece so I can make sure I get the color coding correct. All right. Because, you know, it matters whether it goes this way or whether it goes that way. And I guess it really doesn't matter so long as the color codes are on the correct sides on each end of the plug. All right, so let's go ahead and make up some wire here. And all of this, these supplies I've had since the other layout in Florida for 4 years ago at least. All right, and that should be, let's just double check. All right, if the BDL168 is there, we run it through the sidewall, that should be more than enough. All right. So we'll utilize the tool. There's many different varieties of these tools. If you get one, get a good one. This will do the 8 pair, which is Cat 5 cables, and the 6 pair like this as well. So get a good pair and you'll never have to worry about it again. All right. And I simply need to cut it. All right, so I now have my local net connector made up. And now, next step is we can put our plugs in on the other side. And these barrel plugs, I've already sized my drill bit accordingly. Okay, messed up on it again. I have to get under the track over there, and I can't get under the track with a plug on one end. So we're gonna cut one end off all the way through. I can go ahead and strip it. What I've done next is I've gone ahead and tinned up another ground wire, right? Because we're going to put a spade connector on it. To put for our connection here. Okay. Now I got to find my crimping tool. I've done so much soldering, I haven't used a crimping tool in ages. Set that on there. So we have that connection ready. Need enough wire to run through here, over to here, out to there, and then out to there. Ish. These things are old. Huh. Now, All right, I have spun the layout around, so now you can see better the this other side and how the barrel plug connectors plug in, or how the banana plug for the ground wire plugs in. And we've got the loco nut cable that simply passes through this hole. Okay. So all these things are in place. And now it's a matter of start wiring up all this stuff. Well, we've got our BDL 168 that we can open up. This is the connector for if you want to solder the wires, which I did on the switching layout. But for this layout, I've got to look and see what this little humdinger is. This is a breakout board for the BDL 168. This is what allows me not to have to solder. Instead, it has the 5 positions, or excuse me, 4 positions, all right, each with 4, all right, for the wires to be fed into. This simply fits on to here. Want to make sure. Yep. Simply slides on there like that. And now it just needs to be mounted. And it needs to be mounted in this fashion. And I'll need to make up some spacers, some tall ones, and some smaller ones for the breakout board. So stay with me and I'll get those made up and then we'll mount this thing. All right, so we're gonna make up our spacers for mounting. And I just have some tubing, styrene tubing, and we're going to make up 4 of them at a 1/4 inch. And that'll be for the BDL 168 itself. And then we'll make up 4 at 1/8 inch. All right, so I've marked where my 4 holes go. And so we can put let me find out what this little piece here is for. It's a tester, an LT5 tester. So we'll have to figure out how it works, because I frankly do not remember. That's to test out each one of these sets here. For lights, which we won't be working with. So, as far as track power, I mean PS14, which is 12 volt AC DC power, which goes in right here, these two wires. So what we're going to do is we are going to put down some cable issues here, and basically I take this and we run it So I've had a lot of questions about this so far and how it folds up. I guess that's the biggest stumbling point for most people. All right, so let's take a look at that. Now, as we look at this, the track is separated. All right. And if we watch, it's coming together as it butts up. All right. So it's butting up to each other here, and there is no pulling or anything on the track at all. No binding, nothing. All right, so it's the next morning, and we've got the layout out. It is opened up. Gave a demo on that, and after the last segment, I finished this side where we have all of the exterior connections in and routed to their destinations. That includes power from the PS14 for the BDL 168. That includes ground wire from the command station to the BDL 168. That includes LocoNet cables from the command station to the BDL 168, and track power from the command station that gets routed the outer rail through a terminal block there with jumper that powers the outside rail, and the inner rail that is routed to the BDL 168. That's in, and then it comes out by track section. All right, and that is all completed for this side. It's time to work on this side. First thing we need to do is put our cable clamps in so that we can route our wiring appropriately. So let's get after that. 20 connectors, 20 leads. Counted that one right. All right. Next piece of the puzzle is our cabling. And we're going to do this a little bit different. Little bit. Yeah, way extra. But in order to utilize these shortened ones and have them match up to these, we will run this whole cable through like so. And in actuality, let's back that truck up a bit, shall we? Actually, I need to go through here first. And then up through here. And we'll actually have another one over on that side. Clamp. Right there for now. Now we also need to feed two more white wires through. All right, so we finished up the wiring. Got this side all in. Run through, connect it up to the BDL 168 with the outer rail connection, this blue wire feeding these two white wires, which feed outer rail here and outer rail here. So we're physically done with the layout itself, with its feed connections done. Now it's time in the next part to tackle the programming, the connections, which should be no problem, and then the setting up of the blocks and the programming or scripting of the actual speed matching. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us here at the Retirement Railroad Workbench Wednesday, episode 64, part 3 in our speed matching and programming layout. And remember, y'all have a great day. Bye now.